Sure. Dinesh, are you working on another movie or book or anything?
No, I'm actually, I'm doing nothing else before the election. I'm just focusing on the election debate, and then I'll pivot to some new projects after that.
After.
You
Okay.
will live.
Here we go.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Welcome back to Daybreak USA.
Dinesh D'Souza joining us. He is the director of Hillary's America, a movie that did over 13 million on the big screen. It came out on DVD on Tuesday, and Dinesh is back with us. Welcome back, Dinesh.
Hey, it's great to be on the show.
All right, so for people who haven't seen the movie, give us a recap of what the movie's about, Hillary's America.
The movie is an expose of Hillary and the Democratic Party. It shows that the Democratic Party is actually, contrary to its image of being the party of the little guy and the outsider, the ordinary man, that the party has actually been the deadly enemy of ordinary people. It's actually been the exploiter of women and minorities. It was the party of slavery and segregation, of Jim Crow and the Ku Klux Klan. And from this historical expose, the movie then pivots to Hillary and the Clintons and shows them to be really perhaps the most corrupt duo in American history. These are people far worse than Obama. Obama's an ideologue at the end of the day, but the Clintons are like racketeers and have been making money off of government policy for now 25 years.
All right. So in terms of you, sometimes, the Clintons, we've heard, aren't real happy with people who are dissenters, people who aren't on their team per se. Did the Clintons go after you? And if so, how did they go after you?
Well, actually, the Clintons have not gone after me, but Obama did. I made a movie about him 4 years ago called 2016 Obama's America, in which I kind of got into Obama's world and even into Obama's head. And in retaliation, they lashed out at me by indicting me for exceeding the campaign finance laws. And I got 8 months of overnight confinement in a kind of prison facility under the Obama administration. So this is a little bit of how they look at dissent. The Clintons in this respect are exactly like Obama.
And can you recap, because when you told me about you said exceeding the campaign finance laws, you did 8 months for exactly what was it, the amount, and how did it go down?
Well, I gave $20,000 of my own money to a college friend of mine who was running for the Senate. There was no corruption. I didn't expect anything in return. In fact, the candidate didn't even know about it. Now, no American has been locked up for doing what I did in this country's history. And that's why I feel justified in calling this a selective prosecution. I know that Obama was upset about my film because he was railing about it on his website, BarackObama.com. And literally weeks later, the FBI came banging on my door.
Interesting. Yes, very interesting connection there. All right, so let's talk about it. We're less than a month until Election Day. Obviously, people can learn a lot from the movie. What are you seeing and thinking? What are your thoughts on the election in the last few weeks, the campaign?
Well, it's a very surreal election. I mean, I think that Trump set himself back with the incriminating video of his comments from 11 years ago. Obviously, he was a private citizen then, but nevertheless, the comments were pretty distasteful. He's probably unique in the way he redeemed himself in the second debate, but I think that cost him valuable time. As of now, it's pretty clear that he's behind. I don't think that we should count him out. It's a tough election, and I think it's still anybody's election to win.
Interesting you say that, because a lot of bigwigs, big mucky mucks that we've talked to on the right are thinking that he lost it already. But, we've got a month to go.
Yeah, no, I know that that's right. But I've heard that, and I am disturbed at the sort of sniping back and forth between Trump and Paul Ryan. Obviously, that is not only not helpful to Trump, but it's not even helpful to the Republican Party's chances for holding the Senate. So there's a lot of problems in the Republican Party, a lot of immaturity and a lot of backbiting. And I think there's going to have to be some kind of a cleanup from the ground up after all this is over.
You know, with Hillary's America out on DVD now, obviously you want more people to see it. What do you want them to take away from it? What do you want them to learn about the Democratic Party, and what kind of response are you getting? What are people taking away from it?
Well, people who see the movie are completely blown away. Republicans are super fired up and united. They recognize the stakes that are involved when they see this movie. But I think it's also very valuable for young people to see. It's a view of American history that is covered up by the media. It's also important for Latinos and Blacks to see it. When they do, they feel very discombobulated because it runs so against the narrative that they've been sold. They've been told that the Republican Party are the bad guys. And so when they learn that the Democrats are actually the guys who've been oppressing Blacks and Latinos for centuries, this is a very eye-opening movie.
You know, the polls, having been, in the political circles for years, they're not often reliable. Many say that Hillary's in the lead, but we're just getting word that the latest Rasmussen reports, White House Watch national telephone and online survey shows Trump with 43% among likely U.S. voters to Clinton's 41%. And so it looks like, according to Rasmussen, that he is holding his own.
Well, Trump's support, I think, is somewhat understated in the polls. And moreover, I think that the press is so much in Hillary. I think the American people were beginning to realize that this so-called media, these so-called journalists, aren't really journalists at all. They're essentially paid or unpaid extensions of the Clinton campaign.
It's interesting you say that because I had been on a conference call yesterday with some higher ups, including Trump's right-hand woman, Kellyanne, and also Newt Gingrich, and then other higher ups in the Catholic Church. And the email that was released that people are upset about who are Christians, they said in the email, the quote was an amazing bastardization of the faith. So they called Catholicism a bastardization. But then when I was reading some of the news wires, the quotes they used from this email were not very, they weren't as strong as that. And that was that exchange between Clinton Communications Director Jennifer Palmieri and John Halpin, a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress. So anyway, I noticed just in reading the wires that they were pulling out snippets that weren't really that offensive.
Yeah, I think that this has reached scandalous proportions in terms of media coverage. We saw a little glimpse of this when Martha Raddatz forgot that she was the moderator and began to essentially play Hillary's role in the debate. I mean, that was downright comical. It'd be one thing if Martha was a well-known strategist and former military general, but you've got this clownish woman essentially telling Trump why it is not a bad idea to advertise 3 months in advance that you're about to attack Mosul. So,
all right, Hillary's America, Dinesh D'Souza. It's out on DVD. Thank you so much, Dinesh. Thanks, Dinesh. All right.